trust and moving up the trust curves. We talked about the breakfast I had this morning with Michael, who said trust was the number one reason they got $400 million worth of deals done in 2.5 years. And what we've found is that there's 3 types of trust that lead to getting a deal done. And if you're an investor, you can look at this chart a different way. If you're an investor with us here today, or if you're raising capital, you can look at it a different way. Is that to get a deal done, typically someone needs to trust one of these 3 categories and be very high in the trust curve. If you're high on 2 out of 3, it's more likely to get a deal done and not be a waste of time. If you're high on all 3, then probably the deal's getting done, unless it's just not a good deal. And if you're an investor and you go into meetings and you're low on the trust curve on all 3 of these, you're probably wasting your time. You should just cancel that meeting. Because if you don't know the leadership team, you don't know the industry, and you're not local to the opportunity, and you can't understand it, you're not going to do that deal, and you shouldn't do that deal because you don't have conviction in the deal. This is why people raise capital from friends and family first, because they know you, so they might not understand what layer 1 crypto means, but they might toss $50K into the fund because they're your brother-in-law. And it's easiest to raise capital from people who are really high on this trust curve, and everyone starts there. Then people go to people who are in their industry, who made their money in the industry, and then they understand it, or at least in a related industry. Maybe they made their money in biotech, and they understand healthcare to some degree. And you can go to those types of investors. And it's easier to raise capital if someone is local. You might have known someone for 10 years, and they might have invested in 4 self-storage deals, but if your self-storage facility is in Singapore, that person still might not invest because they're not local to that opportunity at all. Or they may if you're high enough on those other 2 curves. But if you go to people that know you, are local to you or the opportunity, and they understand the industry, you're very likely to convert those people. So the more you can have people in your investor funnel that fit those criteria, the better. The other way to look at this is in your materials, just think, when I go to meet with someone, is my industry really confusing and no one understands a thing we're doing here? Then your materials need to make it very clear. If your industry is super simple, you need to focus either on the team trust or on the actual opportunity and getting them to walk the facility with you and point out things you're going to improve on the manufacturing floor, or that you're going to improve and add more bays within the dental clinic or whatever it may be. So you can change your pitch deck materials to the average type of investor you're approaching. And then every time you enter a meeting, you can ask yourself as you're walking in, okay, what's the goal of this meeting? Am I here to convince them that we are a team that has expertise that they can trust? Or am I here to teach them how the industry works? Because otherwise we're dead in the water. Or is the goal of this meeting to get them to go on site and go on that tour of the 3 different assets we're buying, or something like that, right? So you can use this overall in your strategy or dynamically as you get onto a phone call or get into a meeting and figure out what trust curve do I need to move this person up. If you can move someone up all 3, then you're very likely to get the deal done.